Hey YouTubers, my name is Andrea René and welcome to my channel Andrea René Abroad, where I talk about Peace Corps, travel, and working abroad. I'm a returned Peace Corps volunteer who served in Nicaragua from August of 2016 to April of 2018. In a few days time, I will be departing for Australia, where I will begin work as an au pair for a family with 3 young children. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing how to apply for the Australian 462 work visa. So because I'm an American, obviously this is a visa that Americans are eligible for. However, I'll be showing you a few other countries in this video that are also eligible to apply for this visa. What makes you able to apply for this visa? So the first thing, of course, is you need to have a valid passport. And because the visa is good for a year, ideally your passport would be good up until a little bit past the time that you initially plan to enter Australia. The second thing that makes you eligible for this visa is being between the ages of 18 to 30. So this is a work holiday visa, so obviously this is the Australian government way of showing the world that they approve of traveling while you're young, so definitely take advantage of it if you are between the ages of 18 and 30. The next part is you need to meet the education requirements for the visa, and this does differ from country to country, so just make sure you're super honest when they ask you what is your level of education. So the next thing that makes you eligible for the Australian 462 visa is having the funds to buy your ticket and live and support yourself in Australia and to come back to your country of origin after it's all done. Basically, just taking a screenshot of your bank account should be enough. And the final thing to make you eligible for the 462 Australian work visa is you cannot have had the 417 visa in the past. So if you've heard all of those qualifications and you qualify so far, go ahead and keep on listening to this video. So let's talk a little bit about the details of this visa. The length of stay is 12 months, so a full calendar year, and your visa will not be activated, even though you will have already received it. It will not be activated until your date of entry into Australia. The second thing that's really cool about it is it's multiple entry. So let's say you're in Australia and Christmas time rolls around and you want to come back to the States for Christmas and then go back to Australia after. That is completely fine. Multiple entries are a-okay. And the next part is you can actually reapply for a second year of the visa after having already applied for the first visa and having lived in Australia for a few months. While the 462 visa, you need to be outside of Australia the first time you apply. If you apply for an additional year, you can still be in Australia when you apply for renewal. What can you do with this visa? With this visa, you can work in Australia for up to 6 months with any employer. Now, I will say that if you're working as an au pair, this does not count. You can work for the entirety of the year as an au pair for the same family with the 462 visa. The next thing that you can do with this visa is you can just be a tourist and visit family and friends. That's totally okay. And the final thing that this visa allows you to do is study for up to 4 months in Australia. Maybe at this point you're thinking, hey, this sounds really great, but how much does it cost? The current cost as of 2018 is 450 Aussie dollars. So in the United States, with the current exchange rate, 450 Aussie dollars is approximately 342 USD. Not the most expensive visa out there, but maybe also not the cheapest. Let's go ahead and pop over to my computer and I will show you more information about this visa. Here we are on my computer, and all I did was I Googled the Australian 462 visa, and this was the first thing that popped up in my Google search, and it is the correct website because it is homeaffairs.gov.au, which stands for Australia. As you can see, what I've shared with you so far, it says this visa is for young people who want to holiday and work in Australia for up to a year. And over here, I just mentioned earlier that you need to be between the ages of 18 and 31, so you can see that information is correct. And then there is an additional bit of information right here. It says, don't have a dependent child with you at any time during your stay in Australia. So again, you know, this is a work holiday visa for young folks. So ideally they're thinking of a young traveler who wants to be on their own. And here you can see the list of countries that are eligible for the 462 visa, and right down here is USA, so we are eligible for that visa. You can go ahead and look through this website on your own time, and if you decide that you are interested in applying for the visa, you will go ahead and click I.VALID account, and it will redirect you to the application website. So this is just like basically their database, or you know, their platform where you would apply. So once you decide that you're serious about this visa, then you would make an I.VALID account and you would start filling out the information about your visa. The visa application cycle runs from July 1st to June 30th, and they only have a certain number of visas that they hand out each year. I would advise applying in maybe July, or you know, in what in the United States is late summer to early fall. Late winter, you should be fine. Once you have filled out all the information that is needed on the I.VALID account, there will be 4 documents that you need to upload. The first document that you will need to upload is just a copy of the photo page of your passport. The second piece of information that they will need from you is an actual passport photo. We can see here on my computer that the Australian government has an actual website that talks about the passport photo guidelines. So just the basic guidelines that you would expect for most countries. I'll let you guys read through this information on your own, but here's the important part. So when you get to your passport place, you'll need to tell them that it has a height of 45 to 50 millimeters with a width of 35 to 40 millimeters. So you want to get that straight. And of course, then you can just take the photo home and scan it at home, or if you want to make sure it's 100% accurate, you can take it just to your local Kinko's or printing place. They can scan it for you as a JPEG or a PNG. After you have that document uploaded, the last 2 documents that you also need to upload is evidence of your education. So I just scanned my diplomas and uploaded those. And then you also need a record of your bank account. So I just took a screenshot of my online banking statement to prove to them that I had enough money to enter the country and exit the country on my own. So in the second part of this video, I want to talk more about the medical part of the visa application. And in this section, I'll share with you more about my own personal experience with applying to the 462 visa. As it happens, the family that I will be au pairing for already had an American au pair. So I was able to communicate with her and ask her questions about her application process for this visa. Because the visa was completely online, it is fairly easy and accessible. And in fact, the former au pair for the host family that I will be staying with got her visa in 2 hours, which is totally insane to me. And I did a bit of research, and it seems like a lot of Americans are able to get the Australian visa pretty quickly. When you go through the medical questions, they'll have a whole bunch of yes/no questions. And I was answering no to every single one of the questions, but then it got to one of the last questions, and it asked, have you lived in a country for more than 3 months in the past 5 years? The answer was yes, because I was in Peace Corps Nicaragua for 2 years, and that was literally just a few months ago that I came back from that. That was the only medical question that I answered yes for, and unfortunately that meant that I had to do a medical examination for my visa. Now, the former au pair, she did not have to do any medical because as far as I know, she answered no to every single one of those questions. So the Australian government was like, cool, they just passed her right through. But if you have to answer yes to any of the medical questions, just be prepared, you might have to do a medical. If you have to do a medical, I'm going to show you what that process will look like. They will immediately tell you that you need to do a medical and schedule a medical, and then you will see that you need to have your medical for the visa done by someone who is a panel physician approved by the Australian government. And this is where things get tricky. If you just Google Australian panel physician, you will be directed to a website from the Australian government that basically says describes what a panel physician is. It says a panel physician is a doctor or radiologist who has been approved by the Australian government as a member of the panel to perform medical examinations on visa applicants who have applied from outside Australia. So you will scroll down here and find your country first. So for me, that's scrolling all the way down to United States. There we are. Now here is the catch. I scrolled down here and discovered that there are not panel physicians in every state. And unfortunately, I'm from the state of Oregon. And if you see here in this list, on this list, there is no state of Oregon. So the closest option for me ended up being Seattle, Washington. So right here you can see that they have Washington. You know, you could panic and be like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Or, you know, you can just deal with it. Like if you already want the visa and you want it that bad, I think you probably are already willing to go the extra mile to be able to get it. Luckily here on the West Coast, we have Bolt Bus. And so I just bought a round trip ticket for one day on the Bolt Bus. It was $36. I just went up to Seattle for the medical appointment and came back. What did the appointment entail? Basically, I just had a chest x-ray to make sure that I did not have TB. And then I had just a general physical. And then they also took a urine sample. Obviously, this is definitely like a power struggle, bureaucracy, whatever you want to call it. My dad works in the medical field and was pretty upset that I had to travel all the way to Seattle for this appointment. That is basically the basics of what it is like to apply for the Australian 462 visa. After I got my medical done, I pretty much got my visa immediately. I'm guessing that it is an automated system because the doctor in Seattle literally left a voicemail on my phone while I was at work, and that night when I got home and opened up my email, my Australian work visa was sitting in my inbox. That's all the information I have for today about the Australian 462 visa. Let me know if you have any other questions below. Yes, it does come at a price, but is it worth it? I think yes, if you are really wanting to travel long term, it is definitely a great option for American citizens and citizens from other countries who are eligible for this visa. So I think that's pretty much it. Be sure to follow me on Facebook and Instagram to keep in touch with everything that I'm doing. On Instagram, I am posting daily photos from my time abroad as well as stories. So definitely check me out at Andrea René Abroad, and I will see you all next week.